maybe too wet to do. Maybe. Hello, lovelies. I'm outside. It feels like it's been so long. You can see, poor this compost pongs a bit. You can see a little bit of sunlight here. Oh, this compost is too wet. I'm trying to riddle some compost glass to do some seed sowing. Yes, you can see behind me there's a bit of sunshine. It's a dry day. I need to concentrate for a second. Yeah, so where are we? It's right at the beginning of March, and pretty much since September it has rained. almost non-stop. There have been occasional dry moments for 3 or 4 hours, but not anything like this. Right, I think this is a useless job. One thing that's right, get my brain together. I'm excited to be outside. The thing I've discovered this winter with this garden is it really doesn't get sunshine in the winter from about the middle of October onwards until, well, now I'm just starting to get a tiny bit of sun on the main bed again. But yeah, I mean, it's been almost nothing, and because of that the garden is cold over winter, noticeably colder back here than say at the front of the property. So it's all learning, isn't it? It's all learning when getting into a new property. I haven't been here a year yet. Trying to think back to last year, really it was sort of the beginning of May before I was getting sun even reaching the patio. So partly because of the rain and partly because it's just been so cold and miserable out here, I just haven't done anything. That's going to change today. I'm going to start my first seeds. They're actually seeds which will be started indoors, but because I'm going to get mucky, I'm going to do the mucky bit, getting all my soil, my compost started, all my pots filled out here. And the reason I wanted to riddle the compost, this compost is really wet. I think I've got some spare in the shed from last year. This is a new bag I've literally just bought this morning. The stuff in the shed might be a bit dry and therefore riddleable. And the reason I want to riddle it is because the seeds I'm sowing today are really, well, one lot of them are really, really fine. So I want a fine medium for the seed to land on, because if there's big twiggy bits in, the seed's just going to fall under the twig, sit on the top. It's not going to have good contact with the growing medium, the compost. So, right, let me just go back in the shed and see if the old, or did I bring it out? Just hoiking everything out of the shed for the first time in 6 months, or when did I do the shed? November, I think it was. It's a long time ago, it feels. That's better. I did have a tiny, tiny bit of compost left from last year that was a bit drier and therefore riddleable. Is that a word? I thought I'd riddled enough, but now I'm thinking, riddle me some more. So today's sowings, I'm going to be sowing celery and peppers. So the celery, because it's related to a bog plant, it likes to be kept well moist, and it doesn't mind a bit of shade. So the plan for the celery is to go sort of down near the compost bin, which is a bit shadier. So for now I'm filling up these rigid, I'm not quite sure what, the light's really poor for me to see what you're seeing, the rigid cells, and they will go into the tray. And then we'll have reaching propagator lid. because these are coming indoors, I'm not going to put this back down on the table for the minute because the table is mucky with compost. I've got my little potting sheet on here. Oh, spilled over the edge already. When I come to plant them up, I'll just lift this up so I've got a nice clean surface to work on. Then, so that tray, that's for the peppers. And then for the celery, I don't need to sow many. I'm actually going to halve my loo rolls. With celery, I always do them in a paper pot of some description. I think there are people out working today, making the most of this first bit of decent weather. Yeah, I always do them in a paper, or cardboard in this case, pot, because they are absolutely so piddly-fiddly-iddly to prick out, so that when the time comes, I just cut up the side of the pot and then unwind it, fold it open on the table sort of flat, and then I can just sort of tapple away the compost a bit in order to get them out to prick them. So, oh, I've made this one mucky. Hang on a tick, I wonder if I can. Oh, just put a sheet of newspaper down. These are going to go into the living room because it's the sunniest room by far in the flat. Sunniest and therefore warmest. So they'll have the propagator lids on and they'll stay on for weeks now. Where are we? Beginning of March. The propagator lids will probably stay on into, possibly even into May. In the daytime, if it's really warm and they're getting a bit steamed in there, I will open the little vent setting on the top. But the important thing is at night, I'll wrap them in bubble wrap. They'll get a little bubble wrap duvet. So they're not heated propagators. They're just, it's just a tiny little bit extra. Right, I'm going to carry on filling my loo rolls, getting myself ready, and then we'll get sowing. And just make the most of being outdoors. Blue sky, birds twittering. It's still quite chilly, so I'm quite wrapped up still. But yeah, apart from the muckiness, hence doing it outside, I just wanted to be outside. It feels good. I know from talking to folk in town, people are gradually starting to go back to their allotments. We've been just so utterly sodden here. Yeah, folk have been just staying away from their allotments because you just can't do anything when it's so utterly soaking. But out in town this morning, a handful of people I spoke to, everyone was saying the same thing. We're going to get onto the allotment this afternoon if we can, or I've got a day off on Thursday, I'm going to spend it on the allotment. Just, yay! Hoping that by the time they have their day off, that this dry and this sunshine is still here. Welcome back, sunshine, welcome back. Taking my glasses off, I just went indoors because I suddenly thought, oh, I might start some sweet peas as well. I only brought out my veggie seeds earlier on. Sweet peas though for outside, and so what I've done is I've got a tray. It's a tray with holes, it's a seed tray rather than a gravel tray. My loo rolls full length, and then just a couple of, because I live beside the sea, a couple of pebbles to hold them up so that they're held in there, so if we get a bit of wind. But they're for outside. Excuse me. Right. The main part of the show. So I just brought the watering can to remind me. This compost is really quite damp. Yeah, I don't need to water it. If it was quite dry, I would water it before I scatter the seeds. The seeds are so tiny, the celery in particular, the minute I go and water them after I've, you know, scattered them, they're just going to wash away. So even with the fine rows, so yeah, if you're sowing something as tiddly as celery, I mean, it just makes sense to start with damp, moist compost anyway. So, celery, where are you? Have I got any of my own saved? I'll do half my own and half... My seed tin looks lovely after that session in January. So half my own and half some replenishment. Gosh, I harvested these in 2020, so they're a biennial, which means I sowed them and was harvesting from them in 2019. Left them in over winter, then the next sort of late spring, early summer, they then sort of go to flower, set their seed. So I shall do this little row with my own seed, and they are really, really tiny. There's quite a bit of chaff in here as well as the wheat, as it were. Oh, don't need that many. Hold on. Careful how I tip them back into the packet as well, otherwise I'm going to end up with them in all the patio cracks. So really, just the tiniest little sprinkle. And even the tiniest little sprinkle, I can see there's probably about 20 seeds in every new roll. I guess I would like, spacing wise, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 by 4, maybe 16 plants in that little area. So the variety is that's my cucumber, is called Green Utah. Oh, sorry, just to say, I'll get onto the Green Utah in a second. I've scattered them. I'm just going to firm them onto that soil so they've got really good contact with the soil. And I'm not going to put any more soil on the top, just leave them bare. Yeah, it's a variety called Green Utah. I first started growing it back in sort of 2014, 15 or so. And I really like it because it's not like a lot of celery that you think of where you have to, you bring your plant on and then when you plant it in a trench. So in a trench, and you gradually earth it up because you occluding the light, so you get that white stalk, the sort of stuff you see at the supermarket. This isn't that, so there's no trenching, there's no earthing up, it's really, really easy. Think of this as more like growing a herb. So you won't get, or at least in my experience, I haven't had as big a stalk as, say, the supermarket stuff that we're all used to. But boy, oh boy, does it pack a punch. Because let's face it, most of us probably are using celery mainly for its flavour. We're adding it to soups and stews and casseroles and what have you. I know there'll be a few of you who like it raw with a bit of salad. You can still put this in a salad. You're just not going to get those long, quite wide, chunky stalks that you're used to in the supermarket. But the fab thing about these plants is they're cut and come again. And that's why I think of it more like a herb. So we end up with our little plant, and of course we're not just using the stalk with our homegrown, we're using the leaves as well. Nothing's being wasted. The leaves are beautiful. I don't know why supermarkets cut the leaves off, because they're so gorgeous. So when you're harvesting, so let's say I've got 16 plants and I'm doing a, ooh, that soil caved in. I'm doing a recipe that says 3 stalks of celery. Well, you might look at the size of these stalks and think, oh, I'm going to have 10 instead. You don't need that many because it's, like I say, it's a really strong flavour. But I might say, okay, I'm going to use 4 stalks of my own homegrown celery and the leaves included. But I take a stalk from each plant in, say, row number 1. And then the following weekend, when I'm batch cooking again, I take 4 stalks, 1 from each plant in row number 2. Likewise. So I take from row 1 week, I take from row 2, I take from row 3, I take from row 4. That's handily, it's a month, isn't it? So that in the meantime, these plants are continuing to sprout again, continuing to put up leaves, just like chard. So those of you who grow chard, it's just like chard. You just keep harvesting and it keeps throwing stalks up. So that's why I think it's even better than one of the ones you get in the supermarket that you dig the whole thing up and use the whole plant and then it's done. This way, brilliant, that plant can stay in, and they overwinter as well. So like I said, when I'm just going to pop that over there out of the way a bit. Yeah, you know, you can harvest right through the winter. Okay, so what's next? Peppers, yay! So I don't have a lot of space here, as you know. Right, let's try and be organised. Where's the paper clip? There it is. I will label these, although I know what they are because I'm only doing two things today. Oh, and the sweet peas. Yeah, peppers. I don't have a lot of space here, not by any means. Oh, peppers are right on the top. The rest are tomatoes. So I'm going to bring some on. I don't really know how many I'll have room for, but the idea is that I don't know how many are going to come up, I have no idea. But let's say I end up with 10 plants. I'm going to just dot them around the garden, proper potager fashion. I might even put some in the front garden. Literally wherever there's a space where I can pop one, I'll pop one. So yeah, and I really like that idea. You know, for years growing on the allotment, I loved my organised beds in their serried ranks of that's that and that's that and what. But I'm also yeah, open to having this more cottage potager style of growing. It's fine. All I care about is what can I cram in. I've got 3 varieties here. An orange bell, that's my seed from 2021. I've got, oh my goodness, this is seed from 2019, my own saved seed, and this one is called Du Long des Landes. It's a beautiful, beautiful pepper, but it's a bit finicky. I mean, in the past I've sown 20 seeds and maybe got 6 plants, and of the 6 plants, maybe 4 will fruit for me. And I think in such a small space, do I risk it? Maybe not. And then the other one is and I've never known how to pronounce it. I know I'll get corrected. This is the Hurrah, which is a sort of a paprika pepper from Hungary. Again, it's my own safe seed, and this is from 2021. So all my seed is getting a little bit on the old side now. 2, 4, 6, how many? So the other thing I will do, in exactly the same way that I do with tomatoes, I'll put 2 seeds per cell, and then as they come up, just whichever is the stronger, decide to keep that, and whichever looks a bit straggly, I just, with a pair of scissors, just cut it off at soil level. I won't pull it out, because whatever root it has managed to put down, I don't want to disturb the root of the one I'm leaving. Oh, doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel wonderful? How are you all getting on? I'm sure there's probably tons of you who've started tons of things already. Probably getting your first bits of germination. Now these I will label because I'm putting different types of pepper in. In terms of depth of sowing, it's about, it's barely a centimetre. Again, they're not huge seeds. They don't need to go too deep. And just, oh, they're going to sit on the surface because that cell really doesn't have much soil in. I'll top it up with some compost. As the weeks go on and I'm sowing, you'll excuse me if I use interchangeably words like soil, dirt, compost, growing medium. None of us need to be pedants about it. If I'm doing something like this and I say, oh, put a bit more soil on the top, you know what I mean. It's kind of shorthand rather than saying growing medium all the time. No one loves a pedant. Wat Tyler and the Pedants Revolt. There we go. That's a geographically topical comment for you. Right, labels. I've got a load of labels somewhere. I don't know where I put them. It was one really horrible, grotty day sometime in November. All the garlic was up. If you remember, I sowed the garlic in October. I'll give you a proper look at the garden. I'm hoping in the next few days, if this dry holds, I can actually start some work out here, because it's a bomb site. It's all, I shouldn't say bomb site, sorry, not with world events. It's a tip. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, it just looks like a rubbish dump. Anyway, at some point in November, I came out to tip my kitchen peelings into the compost bin. All the garlic were up, and I thought, brilliant, I'll take all the markers out, because I'd used plant labels to just mark where they all were. And I didn't like how they looked. They're not particularly attractive, you know, white plastic in the ground. So I whipped them all out, and I set them in a pot on the back doorstep to remind me, bring them in, wash them clean and what have you. Forgot to do it. We had a storm and they got scattered all over the garden. So on another brief respite in the rain, I came out, picked them all up. I don't know where I've put them. It would make sense that I've put them in the shed, wouldn't it? But I've hoiked most things out of the shed. Sorry, I just stopped for a second because of the gulls. Isn't it lovely to hear the gulls again? Right, concentrate. This is Fair Hair. That's all I need to write on the front, and I know what it is. And today is the 2nd of March. I can't believe it's the 2nd of March already. 02, 03, 26. This year is... It's a weird one, isn't it? It feels like it's whizzing by, but on the other hand, it feels like it's taken ages to get to this moment. Sorry, rustle. I think it feels like it's taken ages to get to now, because this is the fun bit. You know, it's the bit we all want to do, isn't it? Get back into our gardens. But it also feels like it's whizzed by, because I've just been trying to get so much done, and everything's been taking, you know, to do with the house and the building and stuff, and everything's just taking so long that it feels like, oh my goodness, here we are in March already, and I still haven't done, you know, X, Y or Z. Oh, Rome wasn't built in a day. Right. I'm going to get some compost ready for covering these next ones, because this is all lumpy, bumpy, hideous. Give me a mo. I've just been on a bit of a hunt to look for my labels. I don't know where they are. I've looked in the shed. That's very unusual for me, because I'm normally very, very careful with my stuff. I look after my stuff, you know, clean it after use, etc., because by looking after things, you make them last longer. Oh, little robin. There's a robin behind you. Yeah, we make things last longer, and therefore have to buy less stuff. So yeah, it's very unusual for me to lose something. Some seeds that were sent to me. This is sweet pea singing the blues. Let's hope I'm singing the pinks. They were a little bit old, so by last year. I'll give them a go. These will stay outside now. I've just dibbed a little hole, sort of centimetre hole for them. Thought, yeah, might as well give them a go. If they're not going to... That robin's so sweet. It's looking at me as if to say, come on, find me a worm. Yeah, if these aren't viable, let's say, yeah, by the end of April, if there's nothing showing, I'll just shove a garden pea into the pot. So I won't waste the compost or the loo roll, as it were. So have you got a few seeds underway already? I suppose it will depend partly where you are, but also partly if you've got a greenhouse, whether it's heated or not. You know, there are things, I suppose in an unheated greenhouse you could be starting sweet peas. Yeah. What have you got going so far? And how excited are you? You know exactly what I'm going to be doing, those of you who grow it, in the next few days. Back to the peppers. I am going to be looking at these trays in my living room window every morning. Has anything happened yet? Has anything happened yet? Can you hear the of her wings? She's down in the main bed now, pecking around. Where's she gone? She's hidden by the broad beans, which are a state. Yeah, I'll be looking every single morning, and then I'll be looking again an hour later to see. Has it happened? Has it happened? Is it now? Is it now? Oh, I should say with the... I'm glad that I do go off at tangents every now and again, because the tangents sometimes remind me to say something, and that is that the celery, they can be quite long to germinate, 3 weeks. So yeah, celery need patience. This is pretty much all I will do now at the beginning of March. I think I will take some geranium cuttings this month as well, but that's pretty much it for starting anything in trays like this. And then when we get to the beginning of April, I'll start my tomatoes, squash, cukes, that sort of thing. Bearing in mind, last year I didn't start things till the 23rd of April, till St George's Day, because I was moving. You know, it was the 4th of April that I moved in, so I wasn't ready. And then, so yeah, beginning of April, the vining fruits, the stuff that really needs a bit of warmth. And then hopefully, I mean, like I said, the garden's a mess at the moment, but hopefully now some dry days in March, drier in April, and then hopefully May, get the garden cleared and ready, and then anything that wants to be direct sown, like beans, can be sown directly. And by then I'll have had a whole year to see how the sun moves and to feel the temperature and all that sort of thing. There was something else. Yeah, because if you remember last year, I didn't start clearing the back garden till the beginning of May. So I moved on the 4th of April, but in that first month I was tackling the front and all sorts of other stuff. So I didn't even start out here in the back garden until the beginning of May. So that was, I am going to try some of the du long de long, the special French ones. Yeah, so that was something I was trying to remind myself this morning when I was panicking, thinking, oh my goodness, it's the beginning of March already. Oh, garden, oh. It's like, yeah, but hang on a minute, Vivi. You didn't even start this garden till May last year, so yeah. Que sera, sera. Start when you can. And more than anything, see it as an enjoyment, not a chore. Yeah, enjoy it. If it all becomes a chore that you dread and that you feel forced to do, it might be time to consider doing something else instead. I say that now while things are, you know, not too hurried. Oh my goodness. By the beginning of May I'll be like, oh, chore, chore. I hope not. Anyway, all right, lovelies. Oh, I haven't done this for months. All the furniture's covered up still. It's been covered up since the 29th of August. I can see my neighbour's garden from my bedroom. When I open my blinds in the morning, I can see their furniture is still covered from 6 months ago. Crazy. So I think I'm going to say cheerio to all of you now, and I'm just going to sit here for a minute and lap this up. It's supposed to last a couple of days, so I don't even need to put everything back in the shed tonight. Yay! Yeah, I'm definitely going to make the most of this afternoon, because then next week, yeah, we're back to rain every day again. Make hay while the sun shines and all that. All right, lovelies, thank you so much for joining me out in the garden today. I will see you again very soon. Not sure if it'll be in the garden, but next time I see you in the garden, I need to start tackling the mess. And maybe by then I'll have found these pesky plant labels. Where have I put them? Oh, a label hunting I shall go. All right, lovelies, until the next one. Cheerio.